The theme of Romans Talk tonight is should statements.
Today we're talking about should statements. So should statements are a form of cognitive distortion where we find ourselves making rules that don't actually exist or aren't actually helpful to us. And there was a situation where a woman got a job as a nurse. And so in this unit, this hospital where she'd be working, of course, they had their rules. So there were certain types of scrubs she had to buy and things like that. And she had already purchased some really comfortable black shoes that she was looking forward to wear since she would be on her feet all day. And she was so dismayed when one of the heads of her department said, "Oh, we have to wear Keds, white Keds, for this job." And she was like, "Oh man, first of all, I don't have money right now to buy new shoes." And she saw all the other nurses had white Keds, and she really wanted to wear her black shoes because they were so comfy, and she had got them with the thought that she would be able to use them for this job. But she didn't want to go against the rules, being a new nurse, so she went ahead and bought some ugly white Keds that were not to her liking. And she wore them for several weeks. And one day there was a department head that came through. She was a regional director, and she was wearing Nikes with a hot pink swoosh through them. And she was so like, "What is going on? Why do we have to wear Keds and she gets to wear these Nikes?" She just wanted to know. And so she couldn't help herself. She asked the regional department head, like, "Hey, I noticed you have those cool shoes on. Is it different for you? You guys don't have to wear the Keds?" And the department head was like, "Keds? There's no rule that we have to wear Keds." And she's like, "Oh, I was distinctly told that in order to work this job, you have to wear white Keds." And the department head just laughed and, "Oh no, people are just making up rules that don't really exist." And the department head pulls out the rule book, the manual, the employee manual, and right there in black and white, it says, "Must wear comfortable shoes." There was nothing in there saying that she was obligated to wear a certain brand or a certain color of shoes. So what happened there? Well, a little investigation and the reality of the situation was that, with no ill intent, the department had started to create rules because over the time of nurses working there, about 10, 20 years ago, Keds used to be the most popular shoes on the market, and they were recommended by some of the nurses who were using them. Then that got handed down and that got passed around, and those recommendations became more and more stronger until everyone was wearing them. And if anyone came in, they were told that you have to wear these types of shoes. It was a miscommunication, like a game of telephone. And as a result, they made a rule where a rule didn't exist. And when that happens, it can make life more oppressive. So maybe you've been in a situation where someone has made rules for you that were unnecessary, a little bit oppressive. Maybe it was someone who was a manager in your department at work, or maybe you've had heads of teams or laws that were made in your community, and the rules kind of felt more restrictive than what was really necessary. But I'm sad to say that just like a bad manager, many of us, many of you here in this room today have been making rules for yourself. And you've been doing it subconsciously, not even realizing that that's what's actually happening. As a result, it's causing you to go into depression, anxiety, and it's exacerbating mental illness. And what are these rules? Well, these rules are known by psychologists as should statements. Should statements are a category of cognitive distortions where we basically refer to self-talk that's limiting in its beliefs. Should statements are self-talk where we admonish ourselves as if we're failing to live up to some type of imaginary rule that doesn't even exist, such as, "Well, I should have known that by now." You should have known that by now. That's an imaginary rule that doesn't exist. By 47, I should have my own car. By 30, I should be married. I should be better at this by now. I should have learned this skill by this time. When we make up should statements, it keeps us in a perpetual cycle of feeling like we are failing. And so it makes you have anxiety because you are feeling like there's something that you should have already and you don't have it. And that causes the feelings of anxiousness. It can cause depression when we are looking backward and we say, oh, I should have, referring to something in the past. I should have not gotten divorced. I should have gotten divorced sooner. I should have not had kids, or I should have had children sooner. And then we become sad. Depression always has two main components to it. And for any clinicians, you always look for these two components. There's powerlessness and there's a lack of acceptance, feeling like there's something that's unacceptable. So you see how should statements put us there? When you say, I should have not joined that team, I should have gone to college, you're talking in a way about things that you don't have control over anymore. And you're seeing them as unacceptable. As a result, you will feel sadness. That is what depression is made of. It's our perception that something is unacceptable and we're powerless to change it. It's got to have those two components. It's unacceptable, powerless to change it. Should statements are limiting self-talk that we use to admonish ourselves or kind of like judgmentally scold ourselves to make ourselves feel like we're failing to live up to a rule that doesn't necessarily actually exist. By now, I should have more friends. I should be happy. I should be grateful. In this way, we're making it as if it's not okay for us to feel feelings. Now, please understand, it's not literally the word should that's the problem. We can use the word. It's just that when you're in self-talk, you have to make sure that the way that you utilize language is not limiting and too extreme. When you self-talk, when you speak to yourself in your brain, you make sure that it's not limiting or too extreme. So it's okay if you were to occasionally say the word should, such as, I'm hungry, I should get something to eat. That's okay. But we want to use it with balance. With balance, should can be a guide as to what we should do. Oh, I'm tired, I should get some rest. It's okay, but when used to the extreme, it becomes judgment. Oh, I'm already 16 and I'm still a virgin. That's a should statement, even though it doesn't have the word should in it, because we're making ourselves feel like we're failing to live up to a rule that doesn't even exist. I'm 22 and I'm the only one in my family who didn't get married yet. That's a should statement, even without the word should in it, because we're making ourselves feel like we're failing to live up to a rule that doesn't even exist. So we want to use balance in understanding how to utilize this word. Again, the word itself isn't a bad word, but when we're using it against ourselves, some clinicians like to say you're shoulding on yourself, and you should stop shoulding on yourself. You're shoulding all over yourself when you say the word should in a way that's making rules and limitations, making yourself feel like a failure. You could say, I can't believe I'm still on my healing journey. That's a should statement, because you're really saying, I should be healed by now. And that's a rule that you made up. You see how these rules can really suck the joy out of life? Have you ever played a game with someone who was nitpicking everything you did? Like, no, 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 don't do that. No, 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 just kind of overcorrecting. Like you don't mind a little coaching and help, but at a certain point, you'd like to just play the game and kind of learn on your own. Yeah. You're being like that bad coach. You're being like that bad buddy, that friend who's trying to help out by overcorrecting you. And that's what you're doing with all of the should statements. I should be over this by now. I should be more successful by now. All right. Or it could be something that we're regretting in the past. Oh, I should I should have traveled more when I was young. I should not have gone to school. When we look back in the past, I should not have married him. And when we look back on the past, there may be things that we would have done differently. But do you see how it's not helping us to stay inside of limiting beliefs about our past, framing ourselves as a failure, like we've already failed, like it's over for us? I should know how to handle this situation. Oh, I should be more confident in my decisions. I should not make mistakes like this. I shouldn't be afraid of flying at this point. I should be more organized. I should be more positive. I should be able to meet people's expectations. Oh, I should be in better shape. I should be more productive. I shouldn't feel so anxious about this. Does any of this sound like your head? Does it sound like your self-talk? Well, if you've got self-talk like that, then you're using should statements, which are cognitive distortion. So if you're just joining us, that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about cognitive distortion and how to get out of this concept of the should statements where we're making these rules for ourselves that are actually limiting ourselves and holding ourselves down. Now, again, all anxiety comes from the perception of the mind that there's something that's going to violate us, right? And so you can cause anxiety for yourself when you utilize should statements because you're making yourself feel like you're failing, and failure could be very frightening to you. So should statements can cause anxiety. More often than not, they cause depression, because depression is always caused by the perception that there's something that's unacceptable that we don't have the power to change. That powerlessness and that unacceptability is what creates the feelings of depression. Okay? So how do we fix this? Maybe I'm going to tell you now what you should do, right? But again, within balance, should statements can be a guide for us, right? We just don't want to be so extreme with them. We end up making rules that really don't exist. I should always have a plan. I should never feel overwhelmed. I should be more assertive. I should have control over my emotions. The statements I'm making are true statements, right? You might feel like, well, my should statements are true. It's true that I should do this and I should be this already. Okay, maybe. But is it helpful? How does it make you feel? Remember, we talked about that friend that's trying to overcorrect us? The intent could be good. In fact, the things they're telling us could be correct. Like, no, 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 don't hold your hands like that. Do it like this. Do it like that. Now step back. Take one step back. Okay, next time don't do it. No, no, not like that. But you see what's happening? Even though what they're telling you is technically correct, it's too much correction. Would you do that to a child? Would you nitpick a child, everything he does, everything they say, everything they wear? Some of us are like, well, that's what my mom did to me. Okay, but so that's what you're going to do? Of course not. You would never nitpick a child to death with constant correction and admonishment. So how do we talk to a child in a way that's balanced, where we can still guide them? If a child makes a mistake, do we say, you shouldn't have done that? Well, generally, no, because it's not helpful. just telling the kid, no, you shouldn't have done it like that. You should do it like this. Right? So they're playing their game, they're playing soccer, basketball, you're watching them, and then they get in the car and you start telling them everything they should have done differently. It's not helpful. Some of us had parents like that. It's not good parenting. So if it's not good parenting, then stop parenting yourself that way. Stop doing that. I should have. So how do we change this? How can we change it? We're going to address it at the belief level, and we're going to change the mindset, which is perfect because it's Mindset Monday. At the belief level, we have to let go of the idea or the belief that there is any shoulds or rules. We have to stop believing in the power of should. We have to stop believing in the power of should. Meaning, you shouldn't take it so seriously, ironically. If you use the word should or someone uses the word should, you shouldn't actually believe that that should is a hard and fast rule. You should look at it as a guideline or principle, even as I'm using the word should now. I'm giving you a guideline or principle, not a hard and fast rule. That's going to help us. We need to divorce the belief that should equals a hard and fast rule that we have to live by. The main key here is going to be to change the mindset, which is the self-talk. The self-talk. The vernacular of should statements needs to be alleviated. Again, using the word occasionally isn't the problem. But the problem is using it to the extreme. It's not that the statement has to have the word should in it to be a should statement. It's anytime we're making ourselves feel like we're not living up to a rule or a standard that doesn't really exist or isn't really valid or helpful to us. Those are all should statements. So how can we change the vernacular? Well, imagine I'm on the turf with my child and he's tossing a football and I'm teaching him how to toss a football. It's me and my son. And he gives it his best throw. It's a pretty good throw. But I turn around and I say, that was good. But you should hold the ball more like this and then try to put more of a spiral on it. Okay, try again. All right, to an extent, this could be okay, right? But now, as he's in the game, he's got the pressure, he's out there playing with his friends, and he throws a ball, but it doesn't spiral correctly, so he makes a mistake. When my son makes a mistake, is this time for me to go in and tell him what he should have done better? Or is it better for me to say, that's okay. Next time, you know what you need to do. It's a lot less pressure if our parent, instead of jumping on our every mistake and using it as an opportunity to correct us in a harsh manner, lets us know that it's okay, that something didn't go right one time, and lets us know that there's something we can do in the future to change that. So the proper vernacular, instead of going to a should statement, is to say, that's okay, I will. Instead of I should, or I should not have, or I should have, it's better to say, that's okay, I will. For instance, or that's okay, I'm going to. For instance, that's okay, I'm going to improve my work performance, instead of I shouldn't have done so bad at work. Instead of I should be more assertive, we can say, that's okay, I will be more assertive in the future. Instead of saying I should have more control over my emotions, you say, that's okay, I'm going to have more control over my emotions in the future. Instead of saying I should have made a better choice, you say, that's okay, I am going to make a better choice next time. Instead of saying, I shouldn't have this struggle with my confidence, you say, that's okay. I'm going to beat this struggle with my confidence. Again, what I'm giving you is, that's okay, I will, or that's okay, I'm going to. That's okay, I'm going to. Now, why should we use the phrase, that's okay, I'm going to, in our self-talk? Two things we have to alleviate so that we keep ourselves from going into depression. We have to make sure we don't go into powerlessness, and we need to make sure we don't look at things as being unacceptable. Those two things alleviate depression. As long as we're not viewing something as unacceptable and we're not feeling powerless, then we won't spiral into depression. Is it that simple? Yes. Yes. Simple, not easy, but very simple when we break it down to its core components. So what I'm giving you is gold. That's okay. I'm going to. When you are faced with some failure, some mishap, some mistake on your part, some shortcoming, some area in life where you feel like you don't live up, soon as you hear the should statement come up, you must immediately correct it. I should already be married by now. That's okay. I'm going to find the right person at the right time. You have to go into that's okay, I'm going to, because that's okay. When you say that's okay, you are saying it's acceptable. It's acceptable. And that's the actual truth. That's the most helpful truth, by the way. That's the most helpful truth. When someone makes a mistake, they need to hear, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Let's go. When the guys are out there playing basketball, the NBA players or the NFL players, that's how they keep each other going. They don't say, man, you fool, you idiot. No. Not to their teammates. More often they say, that's okay, baby. Come on, let's go. That's okay. Come on, we're going to get them next time. You hear that? That's okay. You're going to. That's how we encourage our teammates. And it's really much more helpful, right? If you've ever played a sport, played on a team, it's much more helpful. Maybe you're on a team at work. It's the same thing. You'd rather your coworker say, you failed the budget report, you didn't get it in on time. You rather them say, that's okay. You're going to get it done. You'll get it done soon. Rather than, oh, you should have had that done already. It's like, oh, I know you're not helping. That's the point. It's not that it's not true. It's that it's not helpful. So stop saying it. Stop saying I should have. It's not helping anything. It's just hurting. We're just hurting ourselves with that sort of talk. So let's practice. Let's practice staying in the, that's okay, baby. Come on. You're going to get him this time. That's okay. That's okay. Let's do this. This is how we have to be speaking to ourselves. We got to be hyping ourselves up. We are the hype man, the hype woman for ourselves. So we got to be like, that's okay. That's okay. Right? You can have that moment of, oh, right? You make a mistake. You bumped into a car with your car. Oh, and you want to go, I should have been paying more attention. And then just say, that's okay. I'm going to call my insurance and I'm going to get this situation taken care of. That's okay. I'm going to pay more attention next time. That's more positive and it puts you more in the state of powerfulness, which is what actually helps us to get some things done. There's things we need to get done in life. We need to pay more attention, true. But just admonishing yourself, scolding yourself, that's not going to help, right? So let's get into that's okay, I'm going to, but that's okay, I will. All right. So let's take some examples. Let's do some examples here because we got to practice this. We want to make sure we have this down. So let's say you're feeling like you should always be liked by everyone. So you go, oh, I should be liked by everyone. And you stop yourself. You go, that's okay. I'm going to be liked by some. I'm going to be liked by some. Or if your subconscious mind says, oh, I should have been more disciplined. Stop yourself. You say, that's okay. I'm going to be more disciplined next time. I'm going to be more disciplined from now on. I'm going to be. Change the self-talk. If your subconscious says, I should be happier with my life, I should be happier, change it. That's okay. Felt a little down. I'm going to be more grateful from now on. I'm going to stay more in gratitude from now on. I should have more friends by now. I should have more friends by now. Say, that's okay. I'm going to make more friends. It's an inevitability. That's okay. I'm going to make more friends. Instead of, I should always know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing. I should always know exactly where I'm going. That's okay. I'm going to figure it out. That's okay. I'm going to figure it out. When you miss a turn on the highway, instead of, I should have been paying attention. I should have seen that turn. You go, that's okay. I'm going to make a U-turn. That's okay. I'm going to make a U-turn. When you forgot to pick up your kid from school, yeah, parents aren't perfect. They make mistakes. So you're late picking up your kid. Don't go, God, I should be a better mom by now. Don't do that. That's okay. I'm going to set an alarm next time. That's okay. I'm going to set an alarm next time. Let's get into acceptance, power. Acceptance, personal power. Acceptance, personal power. That's okay, I will. That's okay, I'm going to. That's okay, I'm going to. Oh, I should have been more patient. How about, that's okay. I'm going to be more patient next time. I should be more content. That's okay. I'm going to be more content in the future. This is making sense? So we get into the personal power and the acceptance of the situation. Now, a lot of times we're using this in a backward sense because we're looking back with regret. Are you a regretful person? Do you look back at your life, things you should have done, should have accomplished, or didn't get or didn't do? It's the same thing. We want to go back. We want to change the self-talk for those things from our past. So if it's something in the past, we can't say, that's okay, I am going to. You can, but when it's really deep in the past, we may need something to help us with the regret. So a good phrase to help yourself with the regret is, I did the best I could at that time. I did the best I could at that time. But please understand, like when you got married to the narcissist and you got fooled and you got abused and you kept going back and you made a fool of yourself and you begged and you pleaded, right? And there's all this regret now. And you're like, oh, I feel so regretful. I'm so embarrassed at what I did. You got to go, that's okay. I did the best I could at that time. I did what I knew based on what I had at that time. And then we can go into personal power. I'm going to make sure I don't make a mistake like that again. I'm going to do the research and stuff so that I arm myself. But that's okay. I did the best I could at that time. Does that make sense? So hopefully that helps us to be able to combat these should statements as they come up. It's okay that sometimes we use the word. Okay, it's not a bad word. We're not going to make a rule around not making rules. The point is to recognize it when it's happening. When you're using the JOT method, you're going to go deep and you're going to drop down. You're going to realize you've got some should statements in there. You're upset over not living up to a rule that you feel like you should have lived up to. So go in there and hit yourself with the, that's okay. I'm going to. Does that make sense? I should be more successful now? No, that's okay. I'm going to be more successful. I should know how to handle this situation? That's okay. I'm going to learn how to handle the situation. I should be more confident in my decisions? That's okay. I'm going to be more confident in my decisions. I shouldn't have made that mistake. That's okay. I won't make that mistake again. I should be in better shape. That's okay. I'm going to get in better shape. Every single thing we can use this for. So let's obliterate the should statements and therefore obliterate our depression by reminding ourselves that it's okay and staying in our personal power with what we're going to do.